How would you sum up where we are in a snappy metaphor?
Biodiversity isn't just an elephant lurking in the corner. It's a herd of elephants waiting to trample all over the economy unless we manage to tackle this problem. Net zero is potentially the largest economic transformation that we are all going to be seeing in our lifetimes, with the scale of the Industrial Revolution, but the pace of the digital one. So we understand that clients today are overwhelmed.
It's scary.
It's scary, but also pretty exciting. What we try to tell investors is that there's no contradiction between aligning your portfolio to a net zero and nature positive economy and securing your returns at the same time. It is a move from an economy that destroys value to one that creates value. The move to a decarbonized economy is one part of a larger picture, but we shouldn't forget that the economy doesn't exist separately from nature, it exists within it. It's the biosphere and all the natural inputs that actually support most of our economy.
So what are you excited about?
Oh, there are so many things happening already this year. So far it's all been about emissions decarbonization. This year I think we'll see a lot more focus on ceasing deforestation, on the need to actually invest in nature-based solutions. So far we've all become familiar with the Paris Agreement, which at least has given us a framework, understanding what the objective is, understanding what the end goal should be, to keep warming below 2 degrees. This year we're hoping to see a similar agreement come out of what's called COP15 on biodiversity. Again, perhaps the even larger challenge, even below 1.5 degrees as the end objective. I think ultimately investors can potentially be the biggest ally of indeed the climate movement, because what we do have an interest in is in securing the future.
So how do you do that?
On the one hand, we want to understand exactly the impact of companies on the environment. And that is where we use forward-looking tools such as temperature alignment, where we try to understand not only the level of emissions today, but the level of global warming that would result if every company in the economy were to be managing its emissions in a similar fashion. On the other hand, we also want to understand how this transition is actually going to affect companies financially. And there we look at something called climate value impact, where we try to understand exactly how demand is going to shift in a company's given market. How might market shares shift? What kind of costs might a company face? And for companies that successfully transition, what green premia might they secure as a result of this? Look, what we recognize is that to get the whole economy to net zero, this means transforming every single part of our economy. We cannot get to a net zero economy by just investing in healthcare and education and not worrying or choosing to avoid the problem in steel and chemicals and materials. It's actually precisely in those sectors where financing is most urgently needed, and precisely because these sectors are so high emitting today, it's also where the greatest green competitive advantages can be developed. The challenge that investors face is figuring out and recognizing that there will be some losers and there will be some winners. We need to figure out which one is which.